Hey y'all, it's me from editing. I just wanted to say really quick that I apologize for not uploading on time, like on the day, like uploading like every day. It's hard to film, edit, and upload all in one day, especially if you don't know what you're gonna be filming that day. But they're gonna be up. They might not be up on the day, but they're gonna be up. It's gonna be 25 videos at the end of the month, so yeah. Hey sugar loves, and welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new. As you can see by the title, today's video is going to be a mukbang, however you say that word. And I'm going to be talking about like societal pressures, life after high school, things like that, feeling lost, stuff like that. And yeah, and yes, I'm wearing the same thing as the cook with me video. I don't know which video is going to go up first, but obviously I made them the same day. So let's get started. Like I said, I did make a cook with me video, and this is what I'm going to be eating. Don't mind my potatoes, but I have potatoes, shrimp, and salmon. One of them is frozen and one of them is fresh because I thought out one of the frozen ones and then I remembered that I had a fresh one, so I just made both. So yes, this is what I'm going to be eating. Make sure you go watch the cook with me video, and let's get started. So okay, first I want to taste this because I didn't taste it when I was cooking it. This is the frozen salmon. It's alright. Yeah, I mean, it's good, but this is the fresh. This one definitely has more of a salmon, like a fish taste, which I actually appreciate because I feel like the fish with the skin on it tastes more like the sea, and I actually really like that. So I like the fresh salmon better. I'm gonna still eat both, but I like the fresh salmon better. And the texture is different. The fresh salmon is, I guess, softer. I don't know, but I like the fresh one better. Now I'm gonna taste my potatoes. Like I said in the cook with me video, they usually don't come out like this. They came out a little bit burnt, or more burnt than usual, but they're still good, nice and soft. I do like the crispiness that it has though. And these, I added red pepper flakes, so you get it's nice and spicy. I like it. I'm gonna taste the shrimp. The shrimp and the salmon are seasoned the same. It's good. It doesn't taste the same as the salmon though, because salmon has its own taste. So anyway, let's get into it. And I also have some water. Okay, I apologize if y'all can hear like cars or whatever in the background. I do have the window open. But so I don't really have anything written down or like notes or whatever for this, because this is something that has been on my mind, I guess, for a while. I guess since well, not since I graduated high school, but like I guess more recently, of like looking back at high school and thinking about, because I remember my senior year seeing all of my, like the people in my class, get accepted into their colleges and go off to college, and I guess, have a direction for their life. But I didn't do that. I took a year off after I graduated high school, and I worked. And I always knew I was going to take a year off, but it still kind of felt like, I don't want to say bad, but like almost left behind, I guess. Seeing all of my friends go off to college and, know what they want to do with their life and stuff like that. And I didn't. But then after that year, whatever, because I knew I was going to take a year off and then go to college. I didn't know where I was going to college. I didn't know what I was going to study. But I ended up going to the community college near where I live, and I just studied business, which is what I'm still studying now. I'm studying business administration. Even though, like, I'm in college and I'm still, like, I'm studying and stuff like that, and I have that, I guess, to direct me to, I guess, the next stage in my life. I don't know what I'm going to do after college, and I'm almost done. I'm like a semester and a half away, the spring semester, and then the summer semester, I'll be done. After that, I don't know what I'm doing, and I just feel like there's so much pressure from society to know what's going to happen for the rest of your life since you turn 18, basically. Or not even, like, maybe 16, before then, when you get to high school and everybody starts, the teachers and counselors and all that start talking about what school are you going to, what are you going to study, what do you want to be, and all that. And I just feel like, yeah, it's good to have a direction, because the traditional next step after high school is college. So it is good to know, like, if you're going to college, what college you're going to, what you're going to study. But I just feel like nobody really considers the people who don't know what they want to do, who don't know what direction they want their life to go in, what they actually want. You can't expect to ask a teenager what they want to do for the rest of their life and to know that. So, they're not even adults yet, but that's just what it is. And even, like, after high school, how do you expect me to know everything that I want to do for the rest of my life? I have the rest of my life. Of course, I don't have the rest of my life to figure out what I want to do. But, like, and even then, it might not just be one thing. I could want to do this, and then later on, I figure out I want to do this and this. I just feel like, and I'm speaking from my own personal experience. Like I always say in my videos, I can only ever speak from my personal experience because I've only ever lived my personal experience, but this is really, like, my own personal experience. Like, I lived this, and I'm still living in it. I don't know what I want to do. Since high school, since before high school then, actually, because I knew that I didn't know what I wanted to do, so I knew that's why I wanted to take a year off to work and then go to school and figure it out then. So, like, my 16-year-old self left those problems for myself now. But, just feeling lost. I guess this video is for people who, are about to graduate, and of course the environment is much different because of what's going on in the world, but, like, it might not be as easy to take a year off and get a job and whatever, all that. It might not even be easier to just go straight to school because of the economy and all that, but I guess for people who don't know what they want to do, or who feel lost, or who feel like it's bad that they don't know what they want to do, or they feel like they're letting their family down or whatever, because it's like, especially now that I'm in college, it's like, you're an adult now, you need to figure something out. But it's just like, I don't have a, like, I like to do a lot of things. Like, I like to make YouTube videos, I like to read, I like to write, I like to do art, I like stuff, creative stuff, and there's not necessarily one job with a description for what I want to do. So I just wanted to say that it's okay to not know what you want to do. You're not alone. I'm vouching for the other people that you're not alone, and I'm vouching for myself that you're not alone in the journey that is after high school, that is college, or after college. Well, I'm not done with college yet, but and that's another thing. Like, all of the people that I went to high school with, that were in my class, like that I was like friends with, surrounded with, whatever, they went to universities. I went to a community college, and that's another thing that kind of makes you feel like you're I don't really know the best words to describe it, but the best way I can say is left behind, I guess, because you're not doing the same thing that everybody else is doing, or because for some reason, a lot of people look down on community college, and that's crazy because community college is great. In my experience, community college is great. The classes are smaller, and I've never been to a university, but from what people say, like even professors because of course professors went to university, that work at community colleges, they say that the professors at community college care a lot more than professors at university. That's something that I can really appreciate. Not like necessarily comparing, but just something I can appreciate about community colleges, that the professors do care for the most part. So also for the person who feels like they don't know what they want to do or whatever, it's okay to go to community college. Whether that's all the school that you go to and you get a job and do something after that, or you go to community college first and then you go to university, get your prerequisites out the way and all that. It's cheaper that way anyway. But like for me, like I said, I took a year off after high school from schooling, and now I'm in college. But after I'm done with community college, I'm going to graduate with an associate's. And like, I know the norm today is you need at least a bachelor's, but it's just like, I don't know if I want to do that, because school is more than just, of course there's like the experience and all that, but it's more than just getting a piece of paper for the sake of having it, I guess, for credentials or whatever. Of course, it depends on what you want to do. Whether you go to college for something, I feel like, look, in my opinion, I feel like for everybody, for every career, college is not necessary. Of course, if you want to be something like a specialist in something, like a doctor or a nurse, a surgeon, or an engineer or something like that, or even like my sister studied fashion, there's certain things that you have to go to school to learn. But there's other stuff that I don't feel like that you need college for. Like me, I've said this before, I don't know which specific video, but that I'm going to college not to get a specific degree for a specific job or whatever. My degree is it's not super generic, but it's generic. It's business administration. It's not like it's, I don't know, a biomedical engineer or something like that. Excuse me. But I'm going to college to prove to myself that I'm capable of doing college level work. Because in high school, even in middle school, I always kind of felt like even if I took like honors classes, or like I got good grades all throughout grade school, but I always kind of felt like there was somebody smarter and they could take those higher level classes, and I wouldn't be able, like AP classes. I didn't take any AP classes in high school, mostly because I didn't want to. I didn't really need to. But also there was like, under all those layers of like the reasons why I didn't take AP classes, it was that fear of, if I take this class, I'm not going to be smart enough to do the work. So that's why I didn't take those classes. And it's not necessarily good to not challenge yourself just because of fear, but that's why I did it. And that's why, the reason that I'm going to college is to prove to myself that, yeah, it's scary, and you don't necessarily know if this level of work will be too hard for you, but if you don't, then you'll never know. Like they say, the worst thing that you can do is not try. You'll never know if you're good at something if you never try it. So that's why I'm going to college. And even all throughout this, like, since I started college, I felt like, because it's always been in the back of my mind, like, okay, what are you going to do after? Because, you know, between me and you, like, between me and myself, that we don't really want to go to a university, and especially because it's so, because my sister goes to university, and I don't. So I feel like my parents expect me to go to university whether I want to or not. And honestly, I really don't want to go to university. And I think that's okay. I think people need to stop taking so much pressure off of young people to do so much. And of course, I'm not bashing universities. I think universities are great. College itself is great. Education, higher education is great. But if someone doesn't want to go to a university, I think people should be okay with that. And not be like, okay, so what are you going to do? It's just like, there's more to do than go to university and get a job. Like, if someone wants to, like, YouTube, people make millions on YouTube. And you don't need a degree to do YouTube. You don't need any kind of schooling necessarily to do YouTube. I mean, you can for, like, video editing and all that to upgrade the quality of your content, but you don't need any credentials. Little kids do YouTube. You don't need any credentials to make a living. And at the end of the day, that's all we're trying to do is make a living. People go to school to have, I guess, an advantage because they have the credentials to get that good paying job so that they can, you know, have a stable life as far as like income and stuff so that their life is good. But that's not the only way to make it. I don't want to say make it. That's not the only way to make a living in life. Of course, like I said, I really agree. I'm sorry, I'm not even eating. I really agree with going to college and getting a higher education, but I also agree that it's not necessary. So, I mean, on that note, I just wanted to say that it's okay to feel lost in life and not know what you want to do when you grow up. I still don't know what I want to do, and I'm not grown up, but I'm an adult. I'm 21. And I still don't have a definite career that I'm aiming towards. Of course, I'm not just going to sit around and not do anything. Like, I'll try to work on some stuff or whatever, or I'll just get a job. Or, like I'm going to keep doing YouTube because I like doing YouTube. And if YouTube kicks off, then so be it. But I feel like people associate not going to college with sitting around being a bum or whatever. That's not necessarily what will happen. There's people that go to college, get that bachelor's degree, and afterwards it's not, they don't get a job, or they gotta work some minimum wage job or whatever. And there's people that without college education that have higher paying jobs or whatever. Of course, there's like everything. I'm not saying like that's only the way that it'll be. Like if you go to college, you're not gonna get a job, but because of course you have the credentials that supposedly put you at a higher position, higher, I guess, advantage to get that job. But what I'm saying is, it's okay to not want to go to college and either just work or do whatever you want to do and pursue like an entrepreneurial kind of thing or something like that. That went down the wrong pipe. I'm so sorry. What was I saying? Yes, it's okay to not want to go to college. It's okay to feel lost after high school, or even like getting up to the end of your high school, like you're about to graduate. You don't know what you want to do. It's okay, but don't go. Know your reason for going to college, because one, college in America ain't cheap at all. People be in debt for their whole lives after college. So be smart about it if you do go to college. But know your reasons for going to college, because if you're going just because somebody told you to go, and if you don't really want to go, don't go. Figure something else out. Create a plan. Whether it's take a year off to work and give yourself some time to figure it out, or go to community college and then figure it out. Try to figure something out. But don't go to college just because somebody wants you to or somebody told you to. And don't also, a lot of this is easier said than done, but don't feel like you have to go to college to make your parents proud. Of course, if that's why you want to go to college, then do that. But if you feel like you can make your parents proud without going to college, do that. Because you don't want to be if you need to, getting a loan or whatever and doing all this schoolwork and stressing for years just to make somebody else happy. Because at the end of the day, if you're not happy, it's not worth it. It's really not. And also, don't go to college just to keep up with your peers and try to keep up with the crowd or whatever, because it might look fun in college. It might actually be fun for some people, but at the end of the day, you're paying to get an education. So, know your reason for going to college. Yeah, the fresh salmon, I feel like the meat is more fluffy, I guess. The frozen ones were a little dense, but it was still good. I still like the fresh one better though. So yeah, again, it's okay to feel lost. Just create some kind of plan for something that's going to do. Don't sit around and do nothing, because that's just going to make you feel worse. Whether you go out and get a job after high school, whatever, after college, whatever. Just some kind of regular job, so you're doing something. And then maybe later on down the line, you might get an idea for a business, or you might realize that you want to work in this industry, or whatever the case. But don't feel like you have to have everything figured out, like everything to the T figured out when you graduate high school, because that's just, one, that puts a lot of pressure, and it could cause a lot of stress. So if you don't know what you want to be when you grow up, as far as like what you need to study, if you need to go to college or whatever the case, or even trade school. If you don't want to go to college and you don't necessarily just want to work, trade school is another option. Learning skills is very, people can't take away your education, no matter what it is. Whether you learn some skills, whether you learn like stuff in a book or whatever, trade school is another option to learn a trade so that you can get a job and, you know, work your way that way. But it's okay to not know what you want to do or to feel lost. Just before your senior year, if by the end of your senior year, or let's say the beginning actually, realistically, of your senior year, you don't know if you want to go to college, what you want to be, if you go to college, what you want to study, what kind of job you want to get or whatever, create some kind of, I would say a good time span is a year. Because like when I was graduating high school and people were telling me, I was telling people that I'm gonna take a year off, and then I'm gonna go to school. They were just like, no, just go straight to school, because people say that and then they don't go. I'm sorry, I'm slurring my words, but there was like, people say that and then they don't go. Don't let what other people say. If you have your plan together, at least somewhat, for some amount of time into the future, don't let what other people say change up what you want to do. People was telling me, oh, don't go, you should just go to the university. You sure you don't want to go to the university? You sure you wouldn't do that? And because I was saying, I'm going to take a year off and then I'm going to go to school. Don't let what other people say change up your plan if you made your mind. Because most likely, they're not going to pay for your school. Definitely, they're not going to be doing the work, because you're going to be the one that has to do the work, stressing about the work and all that, deadlines and all that. So if you have your plan together, at least somewhat, maybe not like for the next 10 years or whatever, or like you want to study and get this job, create you a plan. Give yourself, I would say, I would recommend a year. Whether this is after high school or after college, I would recommend a year. And in that year, I would say, get yourself a job so you have some regular money coming in, and then give yourself a year to figure out what's the next step. Whether it's moving up in your job, or then you're going to school, or then you're or going to college, or then you're going to trade school, or you want to start a business, or whatever the case, or maybe in that year you start a YouTube channel and then it blows up, and then you don't necessarily have to figure out the next step because you can just keep doing what you're doing. Don't let anybody else change the plan that you have for your life, because at the end of the day, it's your life and you're the one who has to live it. There's other people, but you're the one who has to live your life. So yes, that's the gist of what I wanted to say. That it's okay to not know what you want to do. Don't feel like, well, I can't say don't feel like, because at the time that I was graduating high school and all my friends and all that was going to universities, moving out of state, knowing what they want to study and all that, I felt like a failure. I felt like I was letting my mom down, letting my sisters down, because I'm not going to a university. I'm not going to have a university degree. But at the end of the day, I'm happy that I stuck with what I wanted to do. Because, I mean, things might have turned out differently if I went to a university, but I feel like everything happens for a reason. And everything can only happen the way that it's going to happen. I don't know if I've said this before in the video. And I know I've said it before, like in life, but I don't know if I've said it in the video. Everything happens for a reason, and everything can only happen the way that it happens. Y'all get what I'm saying? You understand me? Everything can only happen the way that it's going to happen. My life could have only happened the way that it's happening. After high school, me taking a year off and working and then going to college, that's the only way that it could have happened. Maybe like in a different reality or whatever, it might have happened a different way. But based on like the decisions, whatever decision you make and whatever outcome that is, that's the only way it could have happened. The only way. If you would have made a different decision, that's the only way that could have happened. Everything happens for a reason, and everything only happens the way that it can happen. If y'all don't take anything else from this video, everything happens for a reason, and everything only happens the way that it's going to happen. Think about that. But that is all I have for this video. I hope y'all enjoyed. Let me know your thoughts down below. If you relate to this, if you've been in this position, if you are in this position, and let's have a conversation down below. I'll give whatever kind of insight that I have. But if you enjoyed, give this video a thumbs up, comment down below like I said, and remember to subscribe and stay tuned for the rest of Vlogmas. I'm going to finish eating, and I will catch y'all in my next video. Bye.
Warriors around, don't get caught in the mosh pit. Fuel to the fire, ain't nobody can stop it. Trouble in my city, but you know I'm across it. Got a 40 on my hip and I'm liable to spark it.